Let's talk about the Ekweremadu scandal situation. The Nigerian politician and wife who is currently held in a UK prison over allegations on human and organ trafficking after bringing a supposed 15-year-old boy by the name of David Ukpo into the United Kingdom under the guise of giving him a job to better his life, but with the subtle intention to harvest his kidney. This story is currently dividing the internet as it's unfolding before our very eyes. But the big question here is, who is lying? Did Senator Ekweremadu deceive this boy into the UK to harvest his kidney? Or did David Ukpo willingly agree to donate his kidney to the couple? Let's get one thing out of the way. Senator Ekweremadu is actually in need of a kidney donor for his daughter who is sick and in need of a kidney transplant. It's not like he's going around looking for people's kidney to sell in the black market or for money rituals. He has a daughter who needs it, and as a father, of course, I understand he has to go through any means possible to keep his daughter alive. So this is not someone looking for a kidney for black market or looking for a kidney for money rituals. The kidney was supposed to be for his own child. And according to the story, he asked a friend or someone who knew about his situation to help find another person who would be willing to donate their kidney for the cause of his daughter's health. And definitely he was going to pay any amount the person requested. After all, he has the money. And I think this is where David Ukpo's story begins. Because according to David, he was working as a bricklayer at an uncompleted building in Enugu, I guess, when a man by the name of Mr. Okoro approached him and promised to give him a better life and a better job outside the country. David first thought that this was one of those scams where he would have to bring the money, but Mr. Okoro assured him that all the bills is on him and that the person he was going to work for in the UK was a senator that is well known in Enugu, I guess. And so David agreed to the offer. David then said the man, Mr. Okoro, then took him to meet another man. And the second man that he met was like, I hope you know what you're going to the UK to do. And David was like, Mr. Okoro had already told me everything and I have agreed to work in the UK. And I think this is where the problem lies, some sort of miscommunication, because Mr. Ekweremadu actually told people to look for someone who was willing to donate the kidney. It's not as if he went directly himself, if I'm correct. So I don't think Mr. Okoro was able to pass the message clearly to David, because I think if he had told David and David wasn't into it, David would have backed out right there and then. But it seemed the people Ekweremadu trusted to, find these people did not communicate the original deal well to David. Although David later said in his statement that he eventually met another man who was supposed to be the owner of the company he was to work for in the UK. He did not mention the man to be Mr. Ekweremadu, but it seems like that might be the man that he met. So I'm not particularly sure, but he did not mention his name. So after meeting the man, they shook hands and they started, preparing his documents to go to the UK. Again, I kind of feel like the communication wasn't clear. I don't think this boy was told, what he was going there to do for a fact. He should have been told, but given the situation now, it seems like they held that information back from him. And Mr. Ekweremadu himself felt that the boy was most likely, was definitely aware of what he was coming to the UK to do. He wasn't the one who went to scout this boy. He wasn't the one who went to find the boy. The boy had met two people who had briefed him on the situation. And it turns out, or it seems as if those two people were not direct with David, because Ekweremadu himself felt that David knew what he was coming to do. But, when eventually David came to the UK and he was taken to the hospital and the doctor spoke to him and asked, this is what's going to happen. And David was like, no, I was brought here for a job, not to take my kidney. And that was when the doctor alerted the police, because it seemed as though this was a modern day slavery and they were trying to illegally steal this boy's kidney. And that was how Mr. Ekweremadu and his wife, Beatrice, were arrested. But this is where the story begins to contradict itself, because at a certain time you would think maybe this was a miscommunication, but hearing that David might have said he was 15-year-old. Now, it's not clear if David used his own mouth to say he was 15-year-old, but the blogs were saying he was 15-year-old. And if that is the case, if David actually did say he was 15-year-old, whereas he's 22 or 21, and according to his younger brother, he's 25, that means David lied about his age. And if this boy can lie about his age, what are the possibilities that he's not lying about not knowing what he was coming there to do? Because the UK articles and the UK news outlets were reporting that the boy was 15-year old. Only for us to do our research over here and discover that through his BVN and his passport, this boy was born in 2000. And if he was born in 2000, he would be 21 years old by now. And it was now said that his younger brother spoke out and said his elder brother, David, is 25 years old. And if that is the case again, that means this boy lied. And if he can lie about his age, what can he not lie about? He did not really address the age when he was addressing the situation. So again, I'm still not sure if him being 15-year-old was something he said with his mouth. Because Senator Ekweremadu himself has proven the situation to be that, the boy should have known what he was coming to do. He has posted a letter that he signed for the embassy. And the letter clearly stated that David is coming to the UK for a kidney donation. Literally, it was written boldly. This is something that David should have been privy to. You can't hide this kind of stuff. And it was said in David's visa, it was stamped for 1 week and it was written boldly there for medical attention. So, didn't David see the passport? Didn't David go to an embassy? Wasn't he questioned at the embassy? Isn't this something that would have been communicated to him at the embassy? I haven't traveled before, so I feel like if you were to travel in the embassy, you'll be asked some questions as to what you're going there to do. And I feel if David had gone to an embassy, they would have asked him this question and he would have been aware of what he was going there to do for a fact. So it doesn't make sense to me that David did not know, saying that he wasn't even 15-year-old. The truth is, I want to believe David because, I understand politicians, especially the rich people, they have a way of taking advantage of the poor people. They have a way of oppressing the poor. They are capable of doing this kind of thing. They are capable of taking someone out of the country to another country to harvest their kidneys. So this is something that rich people like Senator Ekweremadu is capable of. But at the same time, documents don't lie. The facts don't lie. If all the papers that was used to facilitate his travel clearly stated that he was going there for donating his kidney, how come he was the only one not aware of it? That doesn't sound right to me. And if it's being reported that he's 15-year-old on the UK news, how come the document and his passport used to get into that country actually says that he's 21, even when his brother is saying he's 25? I'm not a big fan of politicians. I want to be on David's side so bad, but there is something not giving about the situation. It's almost like I don't know if I can trust him because every other paper, all the documents are saying otherwise. He is the only one not saying anything. I would love for Mr. Okoro to come out and speak out. I don't know if there's a Mr. Okoro somewhere out there. It would be nice for the people who interviewed him at the embassy to see if they actually communicated or discussed the reason why he was coming to the UK for. Those people should speak out, because if for some reason the people who took this boy to the UK were somehow capable of blindsiding him, then he might be telling the truth. Because let's face it, this boy hasn't gone out of the country before. This boy hasn't done any of this thing before. He hasn't gone to the embassy. He most likely doesn't even know how a passport works, talk more of a visa. So this looks like something people would have done for him. It looks like something someone else in a higher position would have processed for him, thereby limiting him from seeing it, thereby preventing him from going through it. He most likely wouldn't even think about going through it. All he wants to do is go to the UK, work, make money, and help his family. So what are the chances that these people in charge of taking David to the UK were somehow able to blindside him? They were able to blindside him from seeing the document or having a direct interview with someone at the embassy. After all, he's a politician. If he calls and pays money, they will most likely not interview David directly. And, that would be a problem, because now David would not be told what he was going to the UK to do, or he would not have a chance to tell the people what he was told he was going to the UK to do. And if that is the case, that means there is a case here. That means Senator Ekweremadu and his team of people might have messed up. But if anything, like David's statement said, other people reached out to him other than the Ekweremadu himself. So I think this is a communication problem, which means the people Ekweremadu trusted to find this donor were not plain and open to the boy David. Maybe they lied to him, maybe they prevented him from seeing the document. And if that's the case, then again, it's just totally confusing. The situation is dicey. I get that the British government, they are not the one to be messed with, and I'm sure they are doing their job. Hopefully their investigation would yield the truth and they would give us a better explanation, because currently the case is still in court and I don't know what is in for David if he lies. For some reason I read somewhere that David lying about his age or pretending to not know he was coming there for donating his organ is a way to seek asylum in the UK should everything eventually dies off, because him coming back to the country, he'll be at risk. He'll be a threat. They'll most likely come for him for lying against the senator. So maybe that was his one-way ticket to get out of this country. Maybe he knew what he was going there to do and he planned it all with whomever, that when he gets there, he would claim to be a victim of human trafficking and organ harvesting. That way, he's kept in the UK and he now lives there as a refugee. If that is the case, then that is it's an unfortunate smart choice, I guess, because it's just sad that a politician's career would be destroyed and his daughter's life would be at risk because this boy took advantage of them. It's sad, it's bad, but I don't know if that is the case. Again, this is just a speculation as to his motive behind lying and turning against the senator as regards him coming there for kidney donation. I don't even know what to say. But another problem again is I feel like the senator would have done this the proper way. I don't know what the proper way is, but I think if he put out an ad or if this was announced publicly, there will be people who will be publicly happy to offer their kidney. So the fact that he had to go secretly, they have to find a boy from a bricklaying job, it kind of gives human trafficking vibe, if you ask me. It kind of gives kidney harvesting, illegal kidney harvesting vibe. That is what it kind of gives. Going to meet somebody at the bricklaying building place to promise them to change their life and ask for their kidney, that seems off. Yes, man, I'm sure there are people who will be willing to do this. I'm sure there are places where kidney donation happens. And he has the money. He would have gone through it, the standard medical process. Just going through a bricklaying boy looking for the poorest boy in the community to offer this money to seems a bit off. I don't trust that process. And I think maybe that is why a lot of people are raising their eyebrows against him. Man, but you guys let me know what you think. Do you think David is lying, or do you think Senator Ekweremadu is the one lying? Because somebody is lying. Somebody is not telling the truth. And it's hard to know, honestly. I really want to be on David's side, but the papers and the documents, they are not helping me be on the side. Honestly, they are not helping me be on the side. It's almost as if there is something missing. There's something we are not being told. And we just have to wait to see how the story unfolds. So stick around. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and stay connected. If there is an update on this story, I'll be happy to share my thoughts on it. And at the same time, I would like to hear you guys' thoughts on this situation. What do you think and how do you think this would play out? Let me know what you think in the comment below. Thank you very much.